Good evening, my name is Jennifer Gonzalez, and I will be talking to you today about the Holocaust. It is a planned genocide. Now, in the picture here, we do see the entrance to one of the concentration camps, or the major one known as Auschwitz. Now, imagine being stripped of your right to identity just because of who you are. Well, this is exactly what the Jews experience. It's not something that they asked for. It's not something that they wanted. Unfortunately, it was something that happened to them. And it's very sad just because of one person that had the power and decided to do so. This is what about 6 million Jews experienced and unfortunately were killed in regards to who they were, their race, their religion. Now, the Holocaust is definitely a sad reminder of hatred and of what power can do. Now, we do have a quote of the Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel, and he mentions, "For the dead and the living, we must bear witness." And I totally agree with him. This is something that needs to be known and we cannot be silent about. The origins of the Holocaust, how it was done, and why. Now, first, I want to mention it was led by Adolf Hitler. He was the mastermind behind it all. He had it strategically planned, and along with his peers, the Nazi regime, whom he created with Nazi youth, and as well as the adults, they were the ones who carried out the whole plan of what Hitler wanted. Now, in this specific moment in 1935, the Nuremberg law came out, and that specifically means that the Jews were stripped from their rights, meaning their citizenship was taken away, they were unable to vote. They had to come, if you see the picture here, and identify themselves with the David Star as they were Jews. This would create them being isolated from the non-Jews. That way, Hitler and the Nazi regime knew who was a Jew and who not. Now, in this case, we also see the Kristallnacht, which is considered as a broken glass, which means that this carried out destroying homes, synagogues, and businesses. Jewish men, women could no longer have their businesses. They had to give up their homes. They had to give up their businesses to the Nazi regime. Now, by that time already, the aggression towards the Jews became more and more stronger. Now, they already had in their mind where the Jews were, who was participating, who was not. They would have certain specific people as a Jew or a German, and they would catch those people to spy on the other ones, to tell the Nazi, hey, he's a Jew, come, this is his house, this is when he comes home. So that unfortunately, was stripped by them as well and taken an advantage. Now, once the Nazi would knock on your door, they would tell you you have a few minutes to carry all the most important, valuable things that you have. Many people took their watches, their important documents, the kids took their plushie, and unfortunately, they never returned back. They were informed they were going to work camps, but never were told the truth. All of this was done in a rush manner to avoid everybody being alerted and knowing about what was going on. So they would carry these out like really in the morning when many people were asleep. And unfortunately, they were taken to the ghetto here. And this is in the ghetto where they would have separations of moms and children's, husbands and wives, or family members separated. Now, once that happened, they would then go to a cattle car or cattle train with very to no food at all. There was no toiletries, no areas for a bathroom, and many died on their way to the concentration camps due to starvation and dehydration. So once they would get to the concentration camp, again, they were separated and were entered into the process of shaving heads, getting tattooed on their arm, and many, instead of going through that process, would automatically go straight to the gas chambers, which we see here. They would have them take a shower and get in here, and then no longer, unfortunately, you would see them again. Now, the aftermath that we see here, it's unfortunately finished the war. Germany, they surrendered, and so the war ended as well. Now, the Allied forces were the ones who liberated many Jews. Now, many died before they were even liberated because of starvation, disease that was going on, or just the Nazi regime. Now, unfortunately, many as well were sent on death marches, where if they couldn't walk that much, they were just killed right then and there at the moment. Many were able to get through and make it through. Now, the Allied forces, Soviet Union, and as well as the American forces were able to liberate the camps. Now, this was all a process. Once they were liberated, after you're stripped of everything, you don't know where to go. You can't go back to your house. So all of this was a process for all of the Holocaust survivors. Now, the German government was able to provide financial assistance ongoing to the Holocaust survivors, to kind of pay them for all the suffering that they went through, even though no money can actually equal what they went through. Now, there are many videos of Holocaust survivors telling their story. Now, it is something very difficult to explain, and to sit in front of a camera and say about everything that they went through. The Holocaust serves us as a great reminder to be appreciative of one another and to not have hate in your heart. That anybody and everybody can be respected, whether your race, your religion, or who you are. Now, this is something that should be spoken about more often to avoid and prevent any future genocides, because we do not want that happening. Now, in 1948, after everything happened, Israel was established as a safe haven. Now, we must tell the story, and we must never let this happen again. Thank you.